Hey friends, how are you? Hope you're well and you've had a good week. Mine's been quite nice actually. We've done a few things this week which has been lovely. We met up with my cousin-in-law and my three cousins on Monday for lunch, and that was just really nice. We hadn't seen them since pre-COVID, so it was really nice to catch up with them. And you know, it was like the last time we saw them, the two of them weren't teenagers, and one was fairly young. They've just changed so much. It's like, what? But oh, great kids. Really enjoyed spending time with them and with my cousin-in-law. It was just so nice. So we did that. I was out for the afternoon on Wednesday with my other half. I needed to go and buy plants for my rockery, so he came with me, and we just had a nice time. Had a cuppa, and it was just really nice to sort of spend time together. And then yesterday we were down in Melrose again, because Dad, the art gallery in Melrose, said they wanted to stock some of Dad's paintings to sell, so we took some down yesterday, and you know, that was nice to do a wee trip down the borders. So that was good. Reading wise, it's been a quiet week, I have to say. I've finished 2 books and started one other. So the first book I finished was on my Kindle, and that was Finding Your Way Home by Jackie Ashenden. Really enjoyed it, about 3 women who moved to New Zealand to start up a business. And that's all I'm going to say about it at the moment. Because it's a NetGalley review book, I will be doing a separate video on it. But no, I actually enjoyed it, and I think there'll be more within the series, because there was only kind of, the book just focused on one of the ladies in the story. I think there's probably going to be stories for the other 2 ladies as well. But really enjoyed it. It was good, and I would, you know, I would like to read the rest of the stories as they come out. Then I read a bind-up called An Amish Christmas Bakery by Amy Clipston, Beth Wiseman, Kathleen Fuller and Kelly Irvin. This has been my physical TBR since before Christmas, so it was nice to get it. If you're not aware that April is Amish in April, the actual dates I think are the 19th to the 30th, but you know, you can read Amish books throughout the whole month of April, so I picked this one up because I really wanted to read it. I'm really glad I did. So as I say, you got 4 separate stories. The first story, which is called Cookies and Cheer by Amy Clipson. So in this we meet Alicia, and she works for a bakery, or works within a bakery, but she makes these wonderful window displays. And she decides that for Christmas, for this Christmas coming, that she is going to make a nativity scene out of cookies. And she gets her friend Kyle to make her some cookie cutters, because she doesn't have all that she needs. And the display is so good. I mean, everybody is raving about her display, and the local newspaper have come to see it. They put a big piece in the newspaper. But of course, with this becomes more people into the shop, which is great revenue for the shop, but it means that Alicia is having to spend more time at the shop to help out, whether it be baking cookies, packaging them up, you know, actually doing till sales, etc. That it overtakes her time with Kyle, who has asked her out, and you know, they've wanted to be together for a while. That she forgets to spend time with. She can't spend time with him. She can't do her usual, you know, Christmas prep with her family. And she's really being tugged in 2 ways, in 2 different directions, and she really doesn't know what to do. And it was a really lovely story, really well written, the characters were really good, and it just shows that, you know, the busyness that maybe that people get in the festive season, that they forget to spend, maybe they can't spend time with their family, or they forget about spending time with their family. You know, it was really lovely, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the second book was called Loaves of Love by Beth Wiseman. Now, Katie's been left in charge of the family bakery, and she is overwhelmed by the amount that she needs to bake and prepare for the coming festive season, and it's really busy. And her family are old order, so they do everything via a wood fire oven. But she meets this Amish man whose family used propane, and he thinks that she needs to be using propane, so he gets an old oven that his mother no longer uses and installs it in the bakery. And while it does help her, in that it saves her time, etc., maybe that's not the way she wants to go, but he's pushing it. And she has a childhood friend, Henry, who is like really not happy about the fact that this guy kind of pushing his like modern Amish ways onto Katie. So there's conflict there, and she's very conflicted herself as to what is best. Do I go back to the wood fire, or do I stick with the propane? What will my family think? So you had all of this, but in amongst it was this lady who comes in and orders, I think it's a dozen loaves, and Amy makes them, and the lady immediately gives her one back for a reason, and the reason was just so lovely. It was like herself and her husband, before he died, every Christmas Eve would buy 12 loaves of bread, and they would give them to 12 people they thought needed a loaf of love. And I just thought that was just such a sweet gesture. I thought, oh, that was just so touching. So, you know, I really liked the conflict of this one. It's like, does she go go against kind of her order and become more modern, or really are her old ways, or the ways that her family, I'm not saying old, are the ways her family do things actually better for a reason? And I really, really liked that. The next one was Melting Hearts by Kathleen Fuller. Now we meet Mattie, who has come to help her aunt in her bakery because her aunt just really needs the help. And the bakery is also getting an extension, and the extension is going to be done by Peter. Now, Mattie and Peter are from the same sort of district area, but they don't get on. They butt heads, they clash. But Mattie is like, she's there, I'm doing the job to help my aunt because my aunt's recovering from illness. And she just works away at the bakery and does, you know, as much as she can. And Peter is, you know, helping build the extension, but because Mattie gets so busy in the bakery, her uncle, instead of helping the extension, has to come in and help at the bakery. So Peter is working on his own. But gradually, Mattie and Peter begin to see that maybe they aren't quite so different after all. Maybe the lady, the girl that's supposed to be Mattie's friend, who was Peter's ex-girlfriend, maybe she is not telling the truth and things like that. And it was really well done. It was like, you know, who does she believe? Does she believe her heart and what she's seeing with her eyes, or does she believe what her supposed best friend has been telling her? It was really nice. It was really well done. You could, the conflict and the, like, wait a minute, I'm seeing a different side to him. Is this really what he's like? Was really, really well done. So thoroughly enjoyed that. And the last one was Cakes and Kisses by Kelly Irvin. So we meet Martha, who helps run her family bakery. Their parents have died, and it's herself and her sisters. And Martha's been asked to make this wedding cake for an upcoming Christmas wedding, and she's doing her best to run the bakery. She's the baker in the family. Her older sister is more the, shall we say, the bookkeeping side of the family, the more business management side of the family. But the two of them, you know, her sister doesn't realise that, you know, Martha needs to spend time with prospective clients in order to find out what they want for their wedding cake, etc., etc. And she is absolutely stowed under with the baking for the Christmas period anyway, that this on top of it is really, really pushing herself. In the town is a lovely man called Ambrose, who academically is not brilliantly bright. He struggles with reading and writing, but he is superb at making things. He is such a kind man. He does deliveries for the bakery. He does deliveries for other people. And he works a farm, his own farm that is in his family. He lives with his blind auntie. And a cousin comes to help the farm. There are various family things working in the background as well. And Ambrose is a bit put out by this, but he's like, okay, fine, this is what's happening, we'll deal with it. And he ends up helping Martha in the bakery at some point. But she is also teaching him to read and write. And it was just really nicely done, and their romance is just a very slow burner, and it was just lovely. It was like how she's seeing him, okay, so he's maybe not academically bright, but he is so kind and generous, and he so wants to learn and everything. It was really, really beautifully done. I have to say, this has been a great bind up to read, and I know that there are more bind ups in this kind of series, and there'll definitely be ones that I'll be looking out for, because I just so really, really enjoyed reading all 4 stories. And if you're doing Amish in April and you can get hold of this, I would absolutely recommend. So those are the 2 books that I finished this week. What am I reading just now? I'm reading The Cornish Village School, Breaking the Rules by Kitty Wilson. This is to do with a lady that's the head teacher of a school in Cornwall, and they may be getting closed down. So there's obviously going to be a let's fight to save the school. Her new next door neighbour is a sexy man, but she is like, no, I'm not having anything to do with him, because she's been burnt before in a relationship, and she's just like, no, I'm not going to go there. I don't date anybody within the village, etc. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but no, I'm how many pages into this? 120 pages in, and I'm enjoying it. So that's kind of what I've been reading and what I am reading this weekend. I should get the Cornwall one finished this weekend. Then what am I going to read? I will definitely. I got a couple of other Amish books to read for the actual Amish in April. One of them is the book that Sarah the Bookish Knitter. My words are just getting muddled. Sarah the Bookish Knitter is doing kind of a group read, so I'm going to be reading that with her. And hold on, I'll let you see the books I plan to read for Amish in April. Okay, I'm back. So the group read is Building Her Amish Dream by Joanna Brown. This came out in March 2022, so this is a new one. To do with Prince Edward Island, so it's set in Canada, which I'm really looking forward to. And then this one was a cover by for me. I will miss it. The Amish Animal Doctor by Patrice Lewis. I am just looking forward to this. Oh, yeah. So those are the 2 that I plan to read for Amish in April. Physically, I think I've got a couple also on my Kindle that I will be reading as well, hopefully. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm planning to read. What are we doing for Easter? We're not got major plans. We'll have a lovely meal tomorrow. My boyfriend is still here. He splits his time between here and another part of Scotland. So he's having Easter with us, which would be really nice. So I think I might go out and buy some little Easter eggs and hide some Easter eggs around the house for him and Mum and Dad to go and find. We'll see. But there's rugby on today and tomorrow, so we'll definitely be watching some rugby. I'll do some reading and just a nice chill weekend. So that'll be lovely. But please let me know down below in the comments if you read any of the books that I've mentioned in this video. If you've read them, I'd love to know what you thought of them. what are your Easter plans? That would be really, really nice to know. Have you got anything special planned for this weekend? And what are you going to be reading this weekend? Yeah, please let's chat down in the comments down below. But until my next video, friends, have a happy Easter, but stay safe and happy reading. Bye.